What is up, guys? Bloodzealous, and welcome back to Building Tips. Today we're going to go over a collection of lighting designs that you can throw around your builds in random places that will hopefully lighten it up a little bit, as well as make it look a little bit prettier. So we're going to get right into these. A lot of them apply to only specific parts of a build, but I'm going to try and cover a broad range. If you do enjoy today's building tips, please do leave a like. I love the support I get on this, and also comment your suggestions for the next episode. So drop your like, guys. Let's go for 150, and let's start building. Now, this first tip works if you have a nice generic room, something like this, very dark, I know. And this is something I did in one of my builds not too long ago. Now, what we're gonna do is we're just going to drop in a redstone block and a redstone lamp, and then we're gonna curve our stairs. We're gonna have some stairs, and we're gonna curve them around the lamp like that, and we'll do that in each corner. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll have something going like this. And when we do that in each corner, we end up with a nice lighting design like this that doesn't affect where we can place blocks, but makes the floor look kind of cool. And this works just as well if your floor is bigger than this one is here. Now let's say, for example, you had some sort of a medieval build going on, and this was the interior, this is one of the inside walls. One of the ways you could do the lighting here, and we're trying to stylistically match medieval, right? So this is going to be very simple, but it's going to match a theme. So one of the ways we can do lighting, and I've used this before in builds too, is take fence posts, and we're going to place torches on top of those. Now that kind of gives the appearance of a lot of times in medieval kind of buildings, you'll see, you know, an arm sticking out, some sort of structure sticking out with a light on top of it. So again, simple, but it matches our theme. So there's something you can try for a medieval build. Additionally, if you need a torch design for on a wall, and now this works in just about any theme, you can first place a torch, then place a trapdoor, and in that trapdoor place in that item frame place a trapdoor. What you'll end up with is something here, kind of looks like a wall mount for a torch. And that's something you may have seen before too, but that works quite nicely. I believe you can also, let me try this again. I think you can also use like pressure plates if you want to mix up the colors a little bit. Those will also do the same trick. So you got something like that going. Those are more ideas for your wall lighting. Let's say we have a very scattered pathway. We'll use a gravel pathway in this case. A lot of times when you have very, very simple pathways like this, you're going to want to go with a simple lighting system. Now, any of you who have watched my previous building videos lately know that this is pretty much my favorite thing to do. This is just your simple torch on a pole, but it has a lot more effect than, say, just placing a torch on the ground. All right, what we're going to do is just place our torches on poles like this, and what we get is a nice little lighting system that looks simple enough, it matches the theme, but also adds more detail than if we were to just throw a normal torch down. Another thing you can do is to take, for example, and I would have to find them here, which could be a challenge, but we can take walls like this here, and we can place a wall down, and then we can place a fence on top of that, and then a torch if you want to add a little more detail to your pillars. This is a very simple outdoor lighting technique, so we got something like that going on. If for some reason we decide we want a somewhat fancier light post for our pathway, and this could work for a more complex pathway as well, we can go ahead and take some wood. We're going to build up 4 high, and this is a little more complex, but it also looks quite nice. We're going to place some upside down stairs around the bottom, like so. Redstone block in the middle. Going to place redstone lamps on each side of that block. All right, kind of like that. Then we're going to take fences, put them in between each redstone block, and a lot of these look a little bit nicer with the texture pack. Then on top, we're going to place more stairs like so, and we can top it off with one final stair right there. And this is a little more complex light design, and it's a little bit bulky, but it may fit your build better than some of these simple ones here. One last idea, and this is good for a lot of external builds. You'll see this a lot, especially in my modern house designs as well as others. If you go ahead and place a light in the corner of these walls, and this style of wall obviously is very, very common in a modern house, any sort of corner of your build on the outside, you can then go ahead and cover your lights up with bushes, something like this, but what you'll have is you'll still maintain the light coming through the bushes. So what you get is a very nice external lighting without having to actually see the light, and a lot of times that adds a really nice effect. One last thing I want to try really quickly here, and I think they may have patched this, or it wasn't a patch, but they may have fixed this. You used to be able to put lights under stairs and make the light come through, but I'm not sure that's the case anymore. I think they block it out. So let's go ahead and break these lights and try and put a light down here, but unfortunately I think they have fixed it where you can no longer do this. Oh no, okay, so you can also put lights under stairs as well, and a little bit of the light will come out, but not as much as if you were to just have it in the corner under a bush. So that's one last tip there for the outdoors or the indoors, depending on how you want to light it. So there's a couple lighting tips, guys. If you did enjoy those, please do drop a like. I really love the support. Let's get for 150. Go for 150, excuse me. And I will see you in the next building tips video. As you stare at the sunset, I'm just gonna say goodbye now before I lose my commentating skill. Goodbye.